Hi, I'm Chris, that running guy, qualified England athletics run leader. And so as you know, I've got upcoming half marathon on the 22nd of January, and I've put together a training plan to hopefully smash my PB by 1.5 minutes. So I'm going to be sharing the plan with you and just giving you a breakdown of how I put a plan together and why I'm doing the training that I'm doing. It can be quite daunting putting together a plan, but they are individual, they are based on age, experience, and whether you've come back from injury. Before you put together a plan, in an ideal world, you would have a goal race or a time trial, so then you can actually work out what paces you need to be training at, which I will get to in another video, but the purpose of this one is to share my plan, let me know your thoughts, and to help you put together a plan if you need to. How do I put together a plan? First of all, I work out what I'm lacking, taking on board that I've just come back from injury. So it's a half marathon, it's a long way. I say I'm lacking in endurance. Since coming back, I haven't managed to string along many weeks of high mileage. My speed isn't too bad, so it's going to be heavily stacked towards endurance, to the point that it's going to be 90% is going to be easy building my endurance, building that aerobic engine, and then only 10% is going to be at a faster pace just to maintain my speed and get my legs turning over. But it's also important to realise that I am 48. I'm not a spring chicken, and I need to take into account that I need to have various rest days. So when I'm putting together a plan, I typically jot it down on a notebook and then transfer it over to a whiteboard so I can easily look at it on a day-to-day basis. Where do you start? Well, I like to start on the Sunday because that's typically our long run day. And my long run might be not as long as some people, but as I say, I've been struggling in endurance and it will be a long run for me. So on the Sunday, an easy pace, zone 2, based on obviously the calculators that we use, or the VDOT calculator I use to build the pacing. We will do that at an easy pace. And I will be doing between 12 and 15 miles on that given day. And the mileage will be a bit of a feeler to see how my body handles it. I haven't run that sort of mileage in months, so let's just play it by ear. I have come back from injury and I don't know how my body's gonna, adapt. So once we've got that in place, the Sunday, then the next day will be a day off, because obviously that is, a long run for me, and, I need to recover because I'm no spring chicken, as I mentioned. The Tuesday, we're going to continue with building that endurance. That will be a 10-mile run at an easy pace. And as I say, just keeping it nice and easy, keeping within the zones and not putting too much stress on our body. The Wednesday is going to be working on my weaknesses, which happens to be my glutes, my thighs, my hamstring, and has been my Achilles. And I'm also going to be working on my core, because I believe that if I can work on them with some strength training, then it'll make me more bulletproof and stronger, so I can actually run faster. I'll be honest with you, I haven't done much strength training before, so it'll be key, but I think it's going to be key to me succeeding on my goal. Thursday, back doing another 10 miles at an easy pace, and then Friday, another day off, just taking advantage of obviously getting some much needed rest. Saturday, I like to do that as my faster run. Some people might like to chuck that in kind of midweek and have a day off afterwards, but I like to incorporate park run. I'm not a member of any clubs, so I think it's important that you can train with other people. I won't be treating it as a race. Previously, I've done park run flat out, and then obviously week by week, it's only going to basically run the risk of getting injury. It's going to run the risk of me burning myself out. So I want to treat them as kind of threshold runs, maybe a tempo run with an interval chucked in, i.e. might run the first 2 at the tempo pace, and then the last mile at kind of interval pace, so a lot harder. But I'll obviously explain that in the video when I do it. Alternatively, I might do 1k repeats. So I like to do them at varied paces, 5k pace plus 10 seconds, 3 minutes recovery, 5k pace, 3 minutes recovery, and then 10 seconds quicker than your 5k pace with 3 minutes recovery, and times that by 2. Be interesting to see if I can keep to the paces that the VDOT calculator, which I use to work out my paces, I can stick to that pace. I think on that one it's about 3:45 per kilometre. So I'll be hopefully have my dad with me to kind of film me so I can share that with you, and hopefully I can hit all those targets. Sunday then we'll be back to the long run. This plan is then going to duplicate itself for the next 5 weeks, and then on the 6th week it's race week. On race week it's important that we do taper down. We don't continue at the same intensity, but we don't want to just stop. So our kind of body goes into shock and think, you know, what are you doing? So we want to keep that body moving. We want to keep the muscles, you know, supple. So we'll continue, you know, stretching that day. So it will be the Monday will be a day off, and then Tuesday we'll be back running 3-4 miles. Wednesday day off. Thursday 3-4 miles. Friday 3-4 miles. And then the Saturday off, just to obviously rest before that kind of race day. And then hopefully on race day, you know, I'll be smashing my PB and give myself on the pat back to doing my training right. So it will be interesting to see how this plan works. It's not a traditional plan. Yes, it's only over 6 weeks. I have previously been training for 2 weeks before that, because I actually entered into the race after my 10k, which was only 7 weeks before the race. So my first week, I think I ran about 24 miles. The second week was around about 30 miles. So I have kind of built up from injury. Yes, it is a steep climb, and it's not something that I'd recommend, but I haven't got long until the race, and it was a kind of last minute entry. So the plan will be over 8 weeks in total. So I will obviously put that on the screen again, just to kind of show you that. I'd like to know in your comments, do you think that based on that training, do you think I'm going to achieve that time, or do you think I've got no chance? Well, as I say, these plans are individual. It was last minute, so you know, it's not the plan that I would necessarily do. If I was doing it over a longer period, I may incorporate some goal pace runs within the longer run, but I haven't got time to do that, and I need to start building my endurance for working on my weakness, because I think it's key on these plans to work for your weakness rather than your strengths. So anyway, let me know down in the comments what you think, and I'll leave the video there. Onwards and upwards. Cheers! I don't know why I've done the swipe early. Anyway, speak to you soon.